McLaren's Oscar Piastri is now on the back foot to win his maiden title, though he doesn't regret his attempt to pass Mercedes' Andrea Kimi Antonelli at Sao Paulo's safety car restart that led to carnage. Piastri was fourth at the restart, but got alongside Antonelli and Ferrari's Charles Leclerc for a shot at second place. But the Australian backed out of the pass at the last moment, which left him nowhere to go and caused chaos, after Antonelli was then forced into Leclerc, which broke the Ferrari's suspension. The stewards handed him a 10-second time penalty and 2 penalty points for the collision, as Piastri did not establish the required overlap prior to and at the apex, as his front axle was not alongside the mirror of car 12, Antonelli. Staying with McLaren, where Lando Norris says shutting out the naysayers has enabled him to take control of the fight for the title, with the Brit 24 points ahead of his teammate Oscar Piastri with 3 rounds remaining. Norris has been flawless across the last 2 rounds in Mexico and Brazil, with a maximum 58 points scored to Piastri's 20, helping him to overtake his teammate. And he says the secret is simple. Just ignore everyone that talks crap about you. Yeah, just focus on yourself. And you know, the team McLaren are doing an amazing job, giving me a great car, he said. McLaren boss Andrea Stella has swatted away accusations of favoritism at the Papaya squad, with the Italian stating that his drivers, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, are like his sons. Rising chatter, especially from Piastri's home nation of Australia, suggests the McLaren team would prefer a British world champion in Norris, and that it's being engineered, which the team denies. But Stella, in a chat with official podcast Beyond the Grid, says he could never choose between his drivers, who have both bought into the team's ethos to fight fairly for championship success.
When you are in my role, it's like when you have 2 sons. And somebody says like, oh, which one is your preferred son? Yeah, but they are my 2 sons. How can you say which one is the preferred one? So sometimes when I hear or read some comments of this kind, I find them really very superficial.
Former Supremo Bernie Ecclestone says that Ferrari team boss Frederic Vasseur is too weak to take the prancing horse back to the top, with the Scuderia needing a dictator to be successful. Vasseur, who joined Ferrari in 2023, has had a tough year at the red team, with no Grand Prix wins and mid-season calls that the Frenchman should be sacked just before he was re-signed on a multi-year deal.
For the decision, it's a bit more difficult that McLaren is flying. Behind McLaren, we are fighting with Mercedes and Red Bull. And they are dominating.
But while Vasseur has been a cooling balm on the Scuderia's passionate workforce, Ecclestone says Maranello needs exactly the opposite, with all Italians having a say on what's right and wrong. Reigning F1 world champion Max Verstappen may now be a distant hope for a 5th consecutive crown, following a tough weekend in Brazil. But the Dutchman is now much happier at a rejigged Red Bull. Verstappen is 49 points behind standings leader McLaren's Lando Norris with just 3 races to go. But Dutch journalist Eric van Haren told official podcast F1 Nation that the world champion has had the joy brought back to his razor-sharp racing.
You feel and see that Verstappen is really happy with Mackey's, the new team principal, and the way he works with his engineering background, the way he talks with him, the setup change they made, the philosophy change they made, but also the new floor in Monza was a good one in the good direction, and that was already planned months before, so when Christian Horner was there. So it's not only about Mackey's, but for sure he did a great job in his first months and weeks.
F1 design legend Adrian Newey is allegedly reorganizing Aston Martin's technical team following his first 6 months in the role, with 7 people either gone or in the process of leaving the team. Aston Martin has made plenty of changes in the uncompetitive aftermath of its successful 2023 season, with technical director Dan Fellows and its performance director Tom McCulloch both gone. But Newey's feedback has triggered more moves, with aero director Eric Blondin, a high-profile recruit from Mercedes, already out the door, along with chief designer Akio Haga, who is understood to have left. The Green Squad is still flush with talent, including its engine guru team boss Andy Cowell, engineering veteran Bob Bell, and Enrico Candile, fresh from Ferrari, who is now Chief Technical Officer. Former Alpine race driver Jack Doohan could be on his way to Japan next year, with the young Australian said to be considering his racing options in the wake of Franco Colapinto's 2026 confirmation. Doohan was replaced by Colapinto from Imola, following 7 starts for the squad, 6 in 2025, in which he failed to score points, and crashed the car in Australia and Japan, blotting his record. Super Formula, the closest series to F1 on car performance, is said to be an option via a potential Toyota link, and would enable Doohan to keep a foot in the F1 door by showcasing his talent. Fernando Alonso says he's curious to see how his fellow 2-time world champion, rallying star Kalle Rovanperä, will fare on his shock switch next year to Japanese Super Formula. Rovanperä, who is fighting for a 3rd WRC title this year, said that he'd been looking for a new challenge for a while, with his dramatic discipline and series shift backed by Toyota. Alonso, though, knows the difficulty of moving across categories, given the level of specialization, having raced in both IndyCar and the World Endurance Championship. I'll follow with curiosity. It is more difficult to see people going that way, from rally to single-seater, than the other way around. It will be a good test, Alonso said. Rovanperä got a taste of F1 last year when he joined Red Bull in Austria for a chance to pilot the brand's 2012 title-winning RB8. Should his switch prove a success, the Finn could be on his way towards an F1 race seat at Toyota partner Haas. Formula E is set for a thrilling future following the reveal of the all-electric series' new Gen4 car that is not only fully recyclable, but promises 50% more power and 100% motor efficiency. The car, which will make its debut in Formula E's Season 13 in 2026-27, will feature active all-wheel drive and has 2 distinct aero configurations to maximize performance for qualifying and races.
It's a bigger car in terms of its scale, but it's also a completely different design of car, different aerodynamics, different levels of downforce. It goes from a max power output of 350 kilowatts to 600 kilowatts. So you've got a roughly 800 horsepower car, accelerating significantly faster than the Formula One car with a much higher top speed.
Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.